Hello, YouTube world. This is CB again, coming to you live and direct. Just want to talk a little bit about Uber and Lyft. Even though these are very new companies and very successful, I just want to talk about how in San Francisco these companies may not be really necessary, as I would say, because growing up in San Francisco, you have to realize that the area of San Francisco is very close to one another. So you have to understand that to get to one side of the city to the next, west, south, north, east, they're very close to one another. So it wouldn't take that long to actually get to the other side of the city. It may take you maybe 15, 20 minutes the most. Be honest with you, the best way to get around is by bus or by BART. And it really doesn't cost that much to use these sorts of transportation. I know Uber and Lyft is very convenient, but as long as you have a good pair of tennis shoes to walk around in, and you can get on the bus and get a transfer, you can use a transfer for at least 3 rides after you buy a transfer. So everything is in close proximity of one another. So you really don't need Uber. That's why I'm trying to wonder how people bought into using this source of transportation, because everything is close to one another. I mean, you can get to any side of the city if you just use 1 or 2 buses. I know that when you get on a bus, a lot of times it's crowded, or you may have individuals on the bus, but if you just sit, close to the front, you usually don't be bothered by a lot of people. And you could just walk. Once you get to your destination, you could walk the rest. I mean, get the exercise. I mean, growing up, I remember San Francisco as being a place where many people would walk, ride their bikes, use skateboard to get around. People were very active. Now I'm noticing just by these new companies that is causing people to be more lazy, more dependent. And that's one thing that is an issue to me, because growing up there, that never was a problem until now. Also, another thing is these, I don't know how people bought into these scooters as well. These little motor scooters, and people are paying for them for maybe 30 to an hour, and then dropping them off at a location. I remember when they first came out, people were just kicking bikes and to get around the city. I mean, those are unnecessary too. I don't know how people bought into that as well. I mean, majority of the time you can just walk to your location to get around. I mean, there's BART, there's a bus, you can have a little bike, get around. I mean, you really don't need these things. I don't know how people bought into paying for them. Yes, I just can't understand it. To me, it's funny. But don't get me wrong. I mean, Uber, Lyft, and these things could be useful in a location where maybe it's very much farther to get to the bus or get to spend part of the transportation. But in San Francisco, it's really not needed. I'm just trying to figure out how people bought into all this. And then, I mean, Uber being priced at $40 now. I mean, I find that funny, where you have a company that is making no money right now, and their workers are protesting that, 1, they're not being paid enough. I mean, their pay is being gouged because the company is trying to save money. 2, many of the workers don't have benefits. 3, I mean, if now they're considered contractors, I guess they didn't know they were considered contractors, or maybe they had to state that. But if they're a contract, that means, 1, if they were to be fired, they can apply for unemployment. 2, they have no benefits. if they were to get hurt on a job, get in an accident, they have to use their own insurance because they're not covered by the companies. So everything is pretty much put on the driver, and Uber and Lyft are not taking any responsibility. So it makes sense for them to protest now, because in the near future we all know that eventually they're going to move to cars that pretty much drive themselves. So I think it is at this time that they do strike and get paid a wage that they can live off of before it's too late, because eventually they're going to go towards self-driving cars. So I think it is important that strikers, one, make sure they get a livable wage. Two, if they can change from being contractors to actually receiving benefits, okay, a wage, benefits, and if they can, how about if they can get some stock options? Maybe they can invest in the company, become a owner of the company as well. You know, I mean, why not? At least if once they start letting workers go, at least they can still have some investment in the company. But if that doesn't work, how about we come up with an app where we can give the writers more independence and allow them to make more money being independent? How about if the workers decide to stop working for Uber and Lyft and all these other companies and start working for themselves? How about that? How about we come up with a way, an app where they can at least get maybe 40% of the profit? Okay? How about we call it the app, Indie app, which stands short for independence, where you can come up with an app and drivers can choose their own times and their own shifts, and they get about 40-50% of the proceeds. How about that? And go independent. Stop depending on Uber and Lyft, because we all know eventually they're gonna let you go anyway, because they're going to self-driving cars. And then that's gonna probably be the only way that Uber and Lyft and all these other companies be able to make a profit, because right now they're not making any profit. We all know. So we need to stop fooling ourselves. The strikers, if you can strike a deal with Uber and Lyft, the time is now, because pretty soon you won't be able to. So the main thing is maybe to focus on coming up with something where you can become more independent on yourself and less dependent on Uber and Lyft. And maybe they'll probably wake up and realize that, hey, you know, these workers are serious, because they're trying to also be able to compete with Uber and Lyft as well. Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe that's what you need to do, is maybe if you can strike, maybe get a certain deal, maybe become a union, maybe become receive a livable wage, maybe receive benefits, maybe have some some ownership in the company. But if that doesn't work, maybe drivers need to become independent, maybe come up with their own app where everyone in the United States and abroad can be independent, where they can get more proceeds, more of the profit, and they can do their independent. They'll be able to compete with Uber and Lyft. So tell me what you guys think. Subscribe to my travel, subscribe to my channel, and make sure to hit that thumbs up button, and tell me what you think. Give me a comment. All right, signing out. YouTube out.